Hello students, in this video I'm going to show you how to find trig functions of any angle. Here we go, that's the title of the video here. So if we let theta be an angle in standard position and we know at least one point on that terminal side of that angle, then we could define sine, cosine, secant, cosecant, tangent, and cotangent as follows. Before we do that, we need to know also the value of the radius, in other words, the distance from the center to that point. We're going to call it r. To find r, if you use the distance formula, because one of the points is 0, 0, we simply take the square root of x squared plus y squared. So once we find r, we define sine as y over r, cosine as x over r, tangent as y over x as long as x is not 0. Cosecant would be the reciprocal of sine, so it's r over y. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine, so it's r over x. And cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, so it's x over y. Again, provided y is not 0, x is not 0 here, and y is not 0 here. So the only thing we have to do is, once we have an angle in any position, in any angle in the coordinate plane where we have at least one point on the terminal side, you can find out the sine, cosine, tangent, or the 6 trig functions of any angle. The previous ways of finding sine, cosine, and tangent was for right triangle for acute angles. Now we don't have that anymore. We could do this for any angle. So if you look at example number 1, we're supposed to find the 6 trig ratios or functions of that angle. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find r. So r is x squared plus y squared. Take the square root of that, and you get negative 4 squared plus, and I just noticed there's a mistake right here. In the third quadrant, both x and y are negative, so that should be negative 3. So negative 4 times negative 4 is 16, 3 times 3, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. So here the radius is 5, the distance from 0 to negative 4, negative 3 is 5. So using the definitions up here, we know that the sine is simply y divided by r. X is simply, cosine is x over r. Tangent is y over x. Notice how it turns positive. And cosecant, we know, is the reciprocal of sine. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. And cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So that's how we find the 6 trig ratios or functions of that angle in the third quadrant. Please note that the tangent is positive in third quadrant because negative divided by negative is a positive, and is the only one out of the 3 that is positive. If we look at the second example, find the 6 trig ratios or functions of the angle. First, again, we have to find r. X squared plus y squared. And that makes the square root of 40. Please remember that the square root of 40 could be simplified because 4 times 10 makes 40. So 2 square root of 10 is the radius this time. So I'm going to write this as, the sine would be y over r. Cosine would be x over r. And tangent would be y over x. Before I write the other ones, I'm going to simplify this. We know that 6 divided by 2 is 3. And to rationalize the denominator here, we need to multiply by the square root of 10. And we get 3 square root of 10 over 10 is the sine. we do the same thing with cosine. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And then we need to rationalize this. We're going to get that the answer is negative square root of 10 over 10. 6 divided by negative 2 is just negative 3. Now to find the reciprocal functions, I'm going to take the reciprocal right here for the cosecant, because I'll make sure, by doing it there, I'll make sure that I don't have square roots on the denominator. It's the same thing here. The reciprocal of that would simply be the negative square root of 10. And we know that the reciprocal of negative 3 is negative 1 over 3. And this is how we find 6 strict ratios of any angle. You might want to note that in this second quadrant, only the sine is positive. Because eventually, based on the signs, we're going to notice that since all x and y are positive here, that means all three ratios are going to be positive here, because x is negative here and y is positive here. Only the sine is going to be positive in this quadrant. And then because both x and y are negative here, only the tangent is going to be positive in this quadrant. And because this is positive x and negative y, only the cosine is going to be positive. So one way we could memorize which function is going to be positive in what quadrant is by saying all students take calculus. That way, just by looking at the angle, we could tell which function is going to be positive. All right, please feel free to copy these on your notes and use them to complete your assignment. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.